Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for the BF Tailgate Wild Card Edition, and I'm not gonna waste anybody's time. We are joined by my guy Z-Bot live at Highmark Stadium. Tell us how it is over there, friend. Is it as cold as everybody's hyping it to be?
Oh my God, boys, it's so cold. Me holding this phone right now, my entire hand is numb. Every finger, the whole hand, it's numb. Look at this, man. I got on this, whatever this thing is, and then a hat on top of it. I got on 5 pairs of pants, 6 pairs of socks, and 4 coats. So my body's good. The hands are rough, but I keep going back to what we talked about last night with Antoine, Rico.
Talk to me.
We keep talking about, I'm here with my dad, my uncle, and my cousin, and the one thing we keep talking about is how in the hell could you play ball in this shit? And
crazy.
We're about to go watch it, but my God, yes,
So
it is as cold as everybody said it was.
Did you pop a Viagra or Cialis pill?
See, listen, here's the problem. And Bart Scott made it public. I thought it was my personal secret. I do that every weekend.
Hey-o.
So now that it's out and about, I mean, whatever. I guess I'm just nobody's going to believe that I started the trend. But of course I did, Rico. Of course I did. I actually took 2 tonight because I wanted to make sure I was prepared. And then, of course, me and my whole family, we all did them as well. So we will be walking in there, guns a-blazing, if you might say. Yeah, my dad's right here. He's ready to rock. Let's go, Buffalo! What's up, boys? Did you take your Viagra? You bet your ass I got Viagra. Let's go, boys! See, I told you, we're all loaded up, Rico. We had it on deck.
Well, listen.
No, seriousness. There's not enough Viagra in the world that can make you warm in this shit, man. I'm telling you, it's absolutely freezing.
Well, here's the beautiful thing. I got Alex on the side of me, right below me. Alex, is it as cold as Z-Bot is making it, or is Z-Bot being a pussy right now?
I'm going to get one thigh shot, and then we're going to go.
This guy wants to get. We can't even see you, fam. We can't even see you.
You can't even see.
Listen, Alex, I'm probably talking to the camera person, and it's not even Alex. So Z-Bot, you talk to me right now. So,
what'd you say?
I'm gonna ask you: can someone actually? Can you fathom anybody playing football in this type of weather? Is it that crazy,
dude? Hell no! I'm telling you, and like we were talking, the one thing that'll blow everybody's mind, and the one thing that like is crazy, but it'll be the reality. The majority of the guys on the field won't have long sleeves on either, because that's the mentality of these guys. But you have to remember, Rico, these guys aren't normal human beings, man. There's a reason they're in the NFL. Last night, what did Antoine Smith say? He said the solution to this is to hit the guy even harder so he feels it more than you do. That's the solution. So I'm telling you, man, in my mind, going out and I can't even type a text message on my phone, let alone throw a football down the field. That's how cold it is.
Who do you feel worse?
Anything that happens tonight, I'll be impressed, honestly.
Who do you feel worse for? Josh Allen having to take the football from Mitch Morse and throw the football field, or are you on the receiving end of a football like Stephon Diggs getting a ball thrown to you from Josh Allen as he rifles it your way?
Oh, easiest answer ever, Josh Allen. Not only is it freezing, it would be the equivalent of catching a rock, but it's freezing cold. I mean, every time Josh Allen throws you the ball, that thing's coming in 100 miles an hour. So imagine you're running what, a 10-yard. Let's just give it for instance. You're Beasley. You're running in route through the middle of the field. It's a tight window. Allen zips that in 75 miles an hour, and that ball is the equivalent of a boulder. I feel bad for the wide receivers because Allen doesn't have to be on the receiving end of that. All he has to do is get it out of his hands. So, but you know what? I mean, the other thing too is you have to remember, they got the heaters and stuff on the field. They have, certain things within their, equipment to make them ready for this, I guess. But the one thing we were talking about here is like, no matter what you have at your disposal, the heaters, the gloves, whatever, if the Bills go on like a 15, 16 play drive, none of that matters, man. You've been out there too long. Like we've been on here, 4 minutes? I've had my phone out in my one hand without a glove on. It's gone. That hand might as well be gone. I cannot feel it. So I have no idea. how you could possibly play ball in this.
So we talked about this, right? We talked about all the things that could probably happen in this game, about who's going to lock down Stephon Diggs. This is not going to be a throwing game. This is going to be a run the football type of game. Is it? Is it not? What do you think?
See, look at and there's a reason Josh Allen, if you go on the betting apps right now, there's a reason Josh Allen's rush yards is absurdly high. Right now it's at 48.5. And to put that into perspective, Damian Williams is at right around 60. So they're expecting Josh Allen to have as big of an impact in the run game this game as they are a Patriots running back who has gone for 100+ against the Bills 2 times. This game's all about running the ball. But the nice thing is, when it comes down to having to pass it, who do you trust more? Your $250 million guy or Macaroni Jones, Rico? I think you know the answer, Zevon. I think you know the answer. So the answer is simple. It comes down to the run game. If the Bills can avoid allowing the big play, the game's theirs because they have a guy at quarterback who can do both. Singletary's been running the ball quite well, and I just do not trust Mac Jones in this situation. If it comes down to him having to throw it, not only do I think he's not capable, it hasn't proved that he can shine in a moment like that, but the elements make that twice as hard.
Okay, speaking of the elements, you were on the show with us last night. We failed to bring this up. Special teams. How is special teams going to be today?
You know what's so funny? That was the conversation we had on the way down here. My dad brought it up. He goes, you know what nobody's talking about? The punting situation. And I go, it's funny. You're right, because we won that game, and it kind of went by the wayside. Look at Matt Hawk was a liability last week. Liability. Now, it does make sense you can't move on from the punting situation. He's the holder. That's a hold. You know how it goes. There's a reason everybody hated Corey Bajorquez. He couldn't hold the ball.
Damn right.
So I get that. But look at that is a legitimate concern. This is going to be a field position game. 100%. I'm telling you right now, we got used to 2 weeks in a row, a couple weeks back where the Bills didn't punt. They will be punting at some point tonight. You pray to God Matt Hawk can put the ball in the air more than 20 yards. I know you, me, and Zevon could go out and do the same. So if he's going to be a pro punter, I hope he can show it tonight.
Well, here's the thing. Zach Vaughn, do you have any questions for my guy, Zach Zebot, that's over there?
Yes.
Well, as you're thinking about it, check this out. Have you seen the inactive list, Zach Zebot? Have you seen the inactive list?
I haven't. What do we got?
All right, I'm going to tell you right now. So we have on the inactive list, as we speak, I'm going to pull it up on the screen so everybody can see what's happening here. Inactive today, Marquez Stevenson sitting, Matt Breida sitting, Tommy Sweeney sitting, Eli Anku sits, Obata and Giles Harris. So Obata and Sweeney will be sitting today. So how do you feel about Obata being sent to the bench inactive for this game?
Is it a healthy scratch?
It's a healthy scratch, man.
I don't know what to think about that. You know, the one thing we were talking about on the way down here, though, is no matter who they go with personnel-wise, healthy scratch or not, it is remarkable how healthy this team is right now. Outside of Tre'Davious White, the big piece missing, I mean, you think about around the league, the injuries that teams have had to deal with, and we're talking multiple seasons here. The Bills have really done a great job of staying healthy. We're going into the wild card here. The Bills are in great shape, and I'm looking at a guy, you know, in Damian Williams, who has been the X factor for the Patriots the last 2 times we've played him. He's dealing with an injury. And I flip over to the Bills, and, you know, we've had our fair share of you know, bumps and bruises this year. But outside of Tre'Davious White, this team is remarkably healthy at this point of the year when we need him the most. So I have the utmost faith in McDermott going into the decision making for the depth chart. And the way I look at it is whatever they decide to do in that department, the nice thing to know is the best players that are needed on the field are healthy and are available, and we'll see them out there tonight.
So I'm going to let you get your hands warm, but I got one last question for you. Does your score prediction from last night change based on being in the elements right now this second?
You know what? It doesn't. I still feel the same I did last night. Everybody wants to make this into you know, a one way or another as far as who's got the advantage tonight. The one thing people fail to say in elements like this is both teams have to play in. I don't think it's advantageous for either side tonight.
Yeah.
Because, you know, outside of, you know, Damian Williams went for 100 the second time the Bills played, they still lost by multiple digits. The only reason they won that first game, he had that long run, which, you're hoping that doesn't happen again tonight. So that happens, right? And you take that out of the equation, which I hope happens tonight. And their run is incredibly, it isn't incredibly dominant to the point where I think it takes over the game. So I look at it. Yes, it's cold. Rico, there is absolutely no wind here. In comparison to the game on Monday Night Football, it's not even close.
Good.
The wind that night was so dominant in that game, was such the focal point. It changed everything. Tonight's going to be standard football. It's just freezing cold. So if I get normal elements in regard to football, that's not normal with wind. I think it's going to be more representative of the game in Gillette than it was in the last time the Bills faced off against the Pats here in Buffalo.
Well, listen, man, before I let you go, because you're going to get warmed up, can I get one ow from my man Z-Bot?
Woo! Dowdy! Let's go, Buffalo, baby. Enjoy the game, fellas. Thanks for having me on. And
Yes, sir.
hopefully afterwards, Rico, you have an audience coming in celebrating the dub with everybody, all right?
Listen, man, get sauced up if you have to. Don't forget our bet. You have to run on the field after the game. Don't forget.
Listen, better not. You know where I'll be. I'll call you from there. Boys, enjoy. Have fun and go Bills, all right?
Yes, sir. That's our guy Z-Bot coming in live from Highmark Stadium. I'll tell you right now, man. Like, listen, there's been a lot of cats that have come on to BF, have contributed, have been guests, and Z-Bot is one of my favorites, man. That boy is wild, man. I like that. I like my guy Z-Bot. So, Zach Vaughn, let's talk about this inactive list because I got to bring it right back up and let's dissect who's in, who's out, and how that's going to affect us. So, Marquez Stevenson. First things first. Marquez Stevenson. Are you surprised with that inactive status from our guy Marquez?
Quite frankly, I'm not surprised. Clearly, they don't like what they saw in him the last couple of weeks. And obviously, last week against the Jets, they made him inactive and just went with Micah Hyde and McKenzie.
Yep.
I'll bet that we see much of the same today. I think for the most part, they'll probably just have Micah Hyde back there, either fair catch or let it bounce and scoop it up and try to get some yards or whatever. Though, of course, you don't want to put one of your all-pro safeties in jeopardy there. But
you definitely don't, and that's a fair point. So, what about Eli Anku? I know he's a depth player, but he's a crucial player because he's made some plays when we've had to go against a team that runs the ball relatively well. So, does that impact our ability to stop the run, or we're better off with him on the sideline and the better guys are playing right now? What are your thoughts on that?
I guess another thing too is, Anku did seem to make a good impact whenever he was on the field. But again, he was on the field for so little of the game overall that I don't think it really makes that big of a difference. The only thing I will say is if Vernon Butler makes any mistakes, everyone's going to be like, oh, you should have had Eli Anku in there instead of Butler. But
you're absolutely right.
Now, it's negligible.
I will say this though, I'm pumped for the game. I think a lot of people are pumped for the game. I got something to play for you guys. I have a treat to play for you guys as we sit here and bask in this playoff that's coming shortly. So we had our guy Kev at Film Sports on Twitter made us a little hype video. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it. If you haven't seen it, here it is. Here's a 2-minute clip of what to expect and how hyped this game is going to be. Check this out. And let me know if you get any goosebumps and where you got it.
Credit to them. They came out, they wanted it more.
Dynamic Jonathan Taylor. 5 touchdowns today for the Colts in a stunner.
They threw 3 passes, and somehow, some way, you ended up losing a game on your home turf.
Hey, Bills Mafia. That was a crazy regular season. A season filled with high highs and low lows. And now going into the playoffs, I'm not sure what to expect. I can't tell you where we'll finish or how many points we'll score or how many tables we'll break. All I can tell you is what we have. We have a group that does not quit. We have a division that now runs through Orchard Park. We have a coach who will run through 53 walls for each of his players. We have a defense that not only leads the league in points and yards allowed, but leads the league in Pro Bowl snubs. And we have a quarterback that not only wears number 17, but a guy that wears an entire city on his chest. Now, a lot of teams have these things, but here's something that nobody else has. Us. Bills Mafia, the greatest fans in the world, unwavered by cold, snow, and hardship. This isn't just about getting to the next round. This game's for every fan that still hears wide right, for every fan that was born and raised in the drought, for every fan that took 2 decades of gut punches from the game's greatest. And it's for every fan that can't be in the stands on Saturday, but is watching from above. These are the Bills we've waited for. This is the quarterback we suffered for. This is the defense we remember. And this is the day that Bills fans, young and old, will be heard around the world.
Intercepted by Poyer. Incredible play. 20, 10, 5, touchdown! Touchdown Buffalo! Let's go!
So if you want to get to them, you're going to have to go through us. Now's the hour. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
If you don't get hype off of that video, I don't know what's wrong with you. Check your pulse. Check what's up with you, because that should get you guys hyped up and ready for this game. This game is massive. This is essentially for the division. Really and truly. Let's talk about it. I mean, on paper, we win the division, but really this game is for the division. So a lot of these guys being out, Marquez, it's you need time. You're not ready yet. You're just not ready. The limelight was too bright for you, Zach. I think you may agree with that head nod. Just too bright. Eli Ankou, depth, that's fine. You get to sit, you get to chill until we need you. But right now, Boogie Basham is the one that's going to be getting the nod over and getting some time to play over the likes of Ankou and Obata. Now, let's talk about Obata. Obata, solid player, big boy, can play inside, can play outside. Problem is, better pass rusher than he is a run defender. And he got really exposed, I believe, what was it, the Panthers game or the game before that? I wasn't too sure, but he was getting pushed around, looked lost, and I can understand why they put him there. This is not going to be a game where Macaroni Jones is going to be throwing the ball, 20 times to 30 times. I can't see it happening unless he's down a lot of points, which is most likely could happen, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a lot tighter than people want to give the credit for these Patriots. I mean, they're going to keep it tight, right? So Obata sitting, it's a good move because they're going to run the ball a lot. They're not going to be passing a lot, so we need to stop the run. So this is why you get your big boys, in there. Giles Harris, strictly there for depth of special teams. Bobby Hart, we already know about Bobby Hart. And then Matt Breida, he's been inactive the last 5 games. So at the end of the day, Boogie Basham is the talk right now because he can play inside, he can play outside, and Lord knows we're going to need him to stop that offensive firepower in run game with Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson. Now, there are some guys that are away on this Patriots team. Starting left tackle, Wynn. So Wynn is out. He is not on the active on list. He's going to be replaced, as well as cornerback number 2, Jalen Mills, out with COVID. So that leaves I don't want to call it a weak opening, but it's an opening nonetheless. So what do you do with a guy like J.C. Jackson? So if you're Bill Belichick, your cornerback 2 is out, what do you do with J.C. Jackson? Do you say, you know what, I need you on that all-pro receiver in Stephon Diggs, and let's call it a day? Or are you switching things up? Are you getting funky? Are you saying, you know what, I'll just put Miles Bryant or whoever they have at corner 3 or corner 2 and bracket over with Phillips or Duggar and try to keep Diggs away and then have J.C. Jackson cover whoever, Emmanuel Sanders, Gabe Davis, whoever's going to be on the number 2. Zach, I want your thoughts on that. If you're Bill Belichick, what are you doing? Are you keeping things status quo, or are you going to change things up to go with what is happening with your roster?
I think that J.C. Jackson came into this wanting the matchup with Stephon Diggs, and I think Belichick's just going to let him have it. Like, you put your number one corner on their number one receiver, and then the better one wins. And as for the number two corner, they'll just stick whoever on Gabriel Davis, Emmanuel Sanders, or Cole Beasley, which may end up actually making a better matchup for the Bills going in that direction, because, Josh Allen's good at incorporating everyone into the offense instead of just keying in on Diggs.
I like that. I really do like that. So, and that's a fair point. If you're a defensive guru that you are, you've coached these guys up all year round, and your mantra is do your job. You know what? He's gonna have them do their job, and this is how I'm gonna have you set up. On the offensive side of the ball, and here's what I want. I want your thoughts on this. You're out your left tackle. So, and we have been a team that has been out your left tackle, out your left guard, out your right guard, out your right tackle. I mean, we've missed everybody. I think Mitch Morse is the only one that's stayed consistent in his one position, right? So, your McDaniels, how are you trying to figure this out? Because you know that we're going to be coming after Mac Jones, and we're going to be trying to tighten up the gaps in order to block off these guys and not let them run free. You're McDaniels, you're Coach McDaniels. Are you shuffling as much as you can and moving things around, putting maybe their big Trent Brown to move over, or do you leave Trent Brown where he's at and just next man up? What are your thoughts on it? What would you do in that regard? Status quo, or do you change things up?
I mean, I'm not as familiar with like the Patriots offensive line situation as I am with the Bills,
right,
because I don't really pay much attention to that. But I would assume probably the similar thing as with J.C. Jackson. You probably just stick the next man in there. Maybe you just have the running back help support block. Maybe you have like Hunter Henry or Jonnu Smith chip off the line when they're going on routes, stuff like that, to try to help offset it. But again, it really depends on how the Patriots do early on in their run game, because if the Bills can stuff the run and force them to pass, then it'll make it that much more difficult for them to compensate for the loss of their left tackle.
And I'm looking at this New England Patriots injuries report. So right now you've got Christian Wilkerson out, one of the receivers. So he's going to be out. You've got Chase Winovich, defensive end / linebacker edge rusher. He's out. And I mean, he was drafted pretty high for them. I think like second or third round, give or take. I can't remember exactly, but I know he was somewhat high up there. And him being out, I don't know. I mean, how he fits on the depth, but it was enough of a name that I've known that he can be a difference maker, right? Starting left tackle Isaiah Wynn is out. Jared Stidham, obviously the backup quarterback. J.J. Taylor out. Carl Davis, defensive tackle out. Devin Asiati, tight end, is out. So, and Jalen Mills out with COVID, and then you've got another cornerback, Sean Wade, that is out. So, and he was out on COVID. So, and that was on July 10th. January 10th. So he might be back just in case. We're not sure, but there's a whole whack of things happening with these Patriots that it's unfortunate for them, but I mean, fortunate for us. We are at the healthiest we've ever been all year. You couldn't have asked for a better time to be healthy. The one thing that I don't want to hear is any excuses. We are healthy. We are healthier than them. One thing that we don't do is excuses, but I don't want to hear from the fans, right? This is it. Everybody's healthy. Everybody that you need to be playing in this game is playing. So we've got no choice but to go in and dominate and do what must be done, right? So Damian Harris obviously is going to be running the rock for them. Ramondre Stevenson and Brandon Bolden. And here's what I'm interested in. So who didn't play last game? It was Nelson Aguilar did not play last game. Not that this is going to matter too much in this game here, but he is somewhat of a guy that stretches the defense. So look for Nelson Aguilar to be maybe that one or two plays in a whole game that can change. So I think it was Ray Ralph, my man from Toronto, and he's a Patriots fan. He says, "Hey, listen, man, this game is usually decided by one big play, and let's not allow Nelson Aguilar, to make that one big play where we're not expecting in and he takes us deep, and we're like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. We can't have that. So we got to make sure that we're on." We're on it, right? So N'Keal Harry is active. It seems as though Nelson Aguilar, Kedrick Bourne. So they've got their receivers. The receivers are all there. Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, they were somewhat of a non-factor. I can't say somewhat, they were a non-factor. Between the two of them, they had one catch between the two of them. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Josh McDaniels is going to try to incorporate these guys in the game, because the last I heard was he was disappointed in how he could not get these guys involved in the game, more specifically Jonnu Smith. Are they going to be an issue this game? Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry? What are your thoughts on that, Zach?
They could very well be. I mean, Hunter Henry, I forgot how he finished the season ranked, but he was one of the top tight ends in touchdown receptions.
Right.
He's a big red zone threat. He's been a consistent threat for years. That's why they brought him in. And Jonnu Smith is more of the wild card. Like, he could very well pop off a big game. He did that before in Tennessee. I don't know if he did it this year with New England as much, but he's always a threat too. So I think if the Bills can neutralize them, or at least limit them like they did the last time again in Foxborough,
right,
then that'll just go a great ways towards neutralizing that passing attack.
Absolutely, man. I got to give a shout out to my man, Jim O'Hara. Jim, I appreciate that super sticker. That's love. If there was a question or comment to go with it, Jim, go ahead and drop that in there. But if you just wanted to say go Bills, then you know what? I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. I appreciate that a lot. So if the chat has any questions, concerns that are just really bugging them and they want that talked about, you guys know what to do. Jump in there. We're going to jump in there and try to grab some questions. I got my man, David Pilata. He's saying, man, we need to run the score up on these guys. Bills need to consider retirement. Anything less will be a setback. Totally agree. And we just can't. The thing is that the last 4 games, Devin Singletary has over 300 yards rushing. The last 4 games, right? And 4 games prior to that, and the shout out to my guy, A. Rich, that came with the stats. He was at 32 carries for 100 and change. What a difference it's been for Devin Singletary these last 4 games, especially these last 2, because one game he runs for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Another game he goes for 2 touchdowns and runs for 88 yards. There seems to be a sense of confidence in our guy, Devin Singletary. What is it about Devin Singletary emerging these last couple of games that's giving people hope? What is that? Zach, are you hopeful for a huge game? Are you thinking that, I don't know if it's going to be a Devin Singletary game. It might be a Josh Allen run game. What does Devin Singletary do for you for this game? Are you hyped up about it? Like, what are your thoughts on him?
I think the reason so many are encouraged by what they saw over the last 4 games is the fact that the Bills are finding an efficient, effective running game at the right time of the season. Yes. Everyone talks about when you get into the playoffs, you got to be able to run the ball. You got to be able to pass the ball. You got to be complementary in your approach. You got to be able to be effective, efficient, do everything as well as you possibly can, because it's a new season. And the fact that Devin Singletary has emerged over these past couple weeks as the RB1, at least for now. We don't know about next year, but the important thing is right now, he's the guy. He's the running back. He's balling. He's making angry runs. He's making the good catches, the check down catches. He's doing everything they need him to do. And that's why he's earned all the touches right now.
I totally agree. Does Zach Moss get sprinkled into this offense at all? Or are we just, let's just run the rock with Devin Singletary and keep him as RB1? There's no 1.5. It's RB1 and that's it. And we'll sprinkle Zach Moss in. But do the elements change that narrative? Or do you stick with it? Devin Singletary and that's it. Chat. I need the chat to chime in and let me know how you guys feel about that as well. Are we sticking with RB1 or do we sprinkle in Zach Moss? Because Zach Moss the last couple of games has done decent. What are your thoughts on that? I want Zach your opinion. I'm going to go into the chat and read the super chat real quick, and then we'll get your opinion on that. My man Josh Richardson comes in and says, hey, what up, Rico? Josh Allen will have 4 touchdowns and Mortar will have 100 yards and Diggs will have over 100 yards. Golly. So we have a lot of 100-yarders. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't know if we go ham like that. Don't forget, we're playing the New England Patriots with Bill Belichick. Belichick ain't having that. He's not going to have you guys run amok and make him look like a damn fool on national TV in front of everybody. So I like where your mind is at, but I don't know if we doing it. Now, if we do, Kudos, man. JR called it. We got another super chat coming in from my man Silas Whittle. What else, Silas? Silas comes in and says, yo, who is returning kicks today? Hack and the run and return game scares the crap out of me. Now, he is absolutely right about that. He's absolutely right about that. Now, I know I was going to ask you about Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, and I'm going to assume RB1 all day Devin Singletary.
Yeah, I'm going to say that what you do is obviously you do what you've been doing. You ride the hot hand. Singletary is going to get the majority of the touches. And by sprinkle in, I would assume you probably mean like maybe 5 to 7 carries.
Less
maybe.
than that.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Moss will just
max.
be in once in a while.
Yes.
Probably more towards the end of the game if it's time to just chew some clock and they're just like, all right, Moss, get 2 yards.
Absolutely. We need 1 yard. We need you to get there and he'll get it for us. And Zach has been playing relatively better. I mean, I think there's less pressure on him now. He knows like he's RB2, so he'll do what he's got to do. And if they call his number, he'll be there to play. Now, on to this next topic, because Silas Willard, this is something that on the show I was kicking myself in the pants as soon as I signed off. I was like, man, I had it in my notes, but I got so excited with talking about other things off the cuff, we forgot to talk about special teams and how big special teams is going to be. And this whole return game has me in my feelings. I don't know how to feel about it because Marquez Stevenson hasn't been doing it. He's just not ready. Isaiah McKenzie, veteran guy, but it seems as though the team doesn't trust him. So here we are with a big old question mark going into a wild card game, and we don't know who the heck is going to be returning our kicks. And I really don't like the fact that our guy Micah Hyde is returning kicks. Are you bothered by the fact that we are uncertain as to who's going to be returning that football?
Yeah, that's not the best thing.
Football.
Yeah. I gotta say, yeah, I'm concerned about that because obviously before the season, last year you had Andre Roberts, who was an all-pro, he was a consistent returner. Everybody loved him, probably should have brought him back. He would have been a consistent, reliable option back there, but they didn't. And obviously the original hope was for McKenzie to do it. And to be fair, McKenzie had some really good returns, but he also had some questionable decisions too. And obviously that questionable stuff is why he was pulled from the spot and they trotted out Stevenson. And I think Stevenson was just too meh for their liking. So they decided just decided it might be better just to have Micah Hyde go in there, wave his arms and catch the ball. Honestly though,
go ahead.
That might be honestly though, Micah Hyde just catching the ball, fair catching it might be the best idea for them. Just let your offense get you down the field, and then you don't have to worry about Micah Hyde taking a big hit unless it's a late Bush League hit by the Patriots, or just, you don't lose anything, you don't gain anything, but you don't really have to worry about it as much.
I get your point. I mean, that's a fair point, a fair assessment on that. Jay Davis comes in with a comment here. Comes in and says, hey, big advantage today with Isaiah Wynn out. The Pats used 6 old lineman package to kill us most of the game. Now with Onwenu starting, I don't think they can run as much heavy personnel, which is the advantage to us. You're right, because they have some big boys. Trent Brown being one of the guys on there, Mason being on that squad. So those boys can move. They got enough beef on that line. I mean, I'm looking at the line right now. So you got Trent Brown and Shaq Mason. So right guard and right tackle are your dominant, and you got David Andrews. So that right there. Those are 3 solid guard play. But things change now when you have Ted Karras in there, and Isaiah being out. So Mike Onwenu is the guy that probably jumps in, potentially even Justin Herron. So we'll see how that plays out. But both those guys are not Isaiah Wynn. Now, I've seen some chatter out there saying, well, Isaiah Wynn in or out doesn't affect too much what this team is going to do, because there's going to be a lot more running the football instead of pass protection. So that's one way to look at things on how this is going to play out. But I'm still very much concerned, nonetheless, not by who's in and who's out with them, but more so special teams, 3 phases to the game. Zach, you said something that kind of struck a chord a little bit with me, but you said something to the nature of, well, I mean, it's okay to just get Micah Hyde back there, just wave his hands and catch the football and call it a day. Although I understand what you're saying, but where's the threat for someone to take the ball back to the house. There's 3 phases to the game. I don't want it to be 2.5. I need it to be full 3 phases to the game. So I need someone back there that can actually pose a threat to the opposing team. Because I mean, if you know person A back there is not going to return anything, man, it's one of those things where you have the ability now to just send the freaking house, right? You don't need too many guys blocking. Send the house, and we know he ain't returning anything. He'll just down it. Just get 2 of my fast guys down there and call it a day. And we're gonna go after Matt Hack because that boy has such a slow release. We got it. We got a glimpse of it the first game of the season when he got his ass blocked. You know what I'm saying? Sent packing. And then this past game against the Jets, where he just had 3 shanks, bobbled the football. I mean, it was not a good day for our guy, freaking Matt Hawk. So if he can, you know what I'm saying, get his act together, and helping us flip the field, that's key, right? And we've also got to put pressure on these guys that are going to be coming after Micah Hyde. So do I want Micah Hyde back there? I absolutely do not want Micah Hyde back there, but what are you going to do? What the heck are you going to do? It is what it is. So we're going to move topics here. So I want to ask you, I asked our friends yesterday on the show who you felt that is going to be impactful for you, offense and defense. You name me somebody on offense and on defense, and you let me know how you feel that they're going to impact this game for you. And Zach, I'll have you start off with the defense, and you're going to hop over to the offense. So, what impactful player on this defense you feel is going to do something in this game for you, or is going to be a game wrecker, a game changer? What are your thoughts?
I think that for defense, the game wrecker could very well be on the defensive line. It could be Ed Oliver. If he can break through, get some pressure on McCorkle. Macaroni Jones, he's not known as a scrambler. He's not known for his arm. If you get pressure on him, and I think it may depend on how Frazier utilizes him. Like last week, I know there was a couple of plays where they lined him up at defensive end. Like, because their Jets had a subpar left tackle in the game. So this week, Patriots are missing their left tackle. What do you do? Do you do something similar? How do you approach their weakness and try to exploit it? Do you think that you move Oliver around maybe, or just try to utilize your best pass rushers to get to him, try to exploit that glaring hole? And I think Ed Oliver could very well make or break it in the pass game. In the run game, we all know that he's a beast, that he can make some people, he can stuff some people in there too. So I think that Oliver could be the big game changer.
That's actually, now I'm going to raise you a defensive player as well, because I'm with you on that regard. Now, before I do, I'm looking at this Raiders game right now, and Bengals are up 26-19. And I believe the ball's in the Raiders' hands. I'm only looking at the ESPN. And I believe, what are they in red zone? They're in the red zone.
It's second and goal from like the 20-ish or something, or there was just a completion, so it might be second and goal closer. Actually, it was just a reception by Zay Jones, former Bill.
Holy crap. These Bengals could go ahead and F around and tie this game up and go back to overtime. Holy crow. These guys don't know how to die. I swear, man.
House money. They're playing with house money in this playoff run.
You think they are?
Any team that kind of backs their way in, like the Raiders, like considering how bizarre it was that they got to this point, I think they're just playing with house money. So it's kind of just like, if they win, if they spoil something, then cool. They're going to try to make a run. But
so I'm curious to see how this plays out. If you have it on TV, let me know how that plays out. So for you said Ed Oliver's being your guy. My guy is going to be Harrison Phillips. I think I never thought I would have ever said Harrison Phillips being the game changer, but the way he's been playing, with the confidence he's been playing with, I will take that all day, every day. And I'm going to repeat this because Deion Dawkins said it best, and I love that he said this. He says, hey, there's momentum and then there's confidence. Momentum goes up and down, right? You get momentum, I get momentum. It could go either way. But with confidence, and when you're playing with confidence, very difficult to take away somebody's confidence when they've got a 2 to 3. Actually, with Harrison Phillips, he's got like a 4 or 5 game of riches and confidence that he's put together. So I like Phillips to come in and really make a difference in this game defensively, because first matchup didn't go so great. right? Second matchup, a little better. You know what I'm saying? And this is where you put the nail in the damn coffin. So I'll wait and see. So it looks like Cincinnati is moving on. The Las Vegas Raiders have failed. Bengals win. So Bengals winning this. I don't know what seed the Bengals were.
Ooh.
That's the one
Yeah.
that I'm curious in. So let me see if I can find out what seeding they were, because we're the number 3 seed. So
I think they were 4 then, because unless
were
the
they
Chiefs
4?
were, yeah, because the Chiefs were the 2nd seed because they're playing the. Well,
Yeah,
wait,
Chiefs were 2nd seed, and
yeah, and they're
obviously
playing the Steelers, who were 7.
no, I thought Steelers are 7. That's correct. So what would
Yeah,
that make? What the Bengals 4 seed?
Bengals, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so because
Yeah, so the Bengals
then
are the
the
4 seed.
Raiders
Okay,
must have
yeah,
been 5.
that makes sense. So listen, and then I think New England's New England's the 6th seed, because we're the 3rd seed. We're playing New England. So yeah, so the Bengals were the 4th. I don't know who the 5th was, but it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But here we are. Here we are, man. So Bengals are in. They win. Now we've got to handle business tonight. So here's the deal. It is what, 7:51 on your end, Zach? It's 8:51 for
Yeah.
me. The game starts in about, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, give or take. Few things that we've got to address here. Pressure on Josh Allen. Is it mounting? Do you think that he's capable of handling this game? Because this game is not like you're playing the Colts and you know what I'm saying, it's different. You're away, you're home. Number 1, there's pressure there. Then number 2, your opponents are the New England Patriots. Double pressure, right? And number 3, you're going up against a rookie quarterback. So do you find that there's a lot of pressure on Zach, or does Josh, or is Josh prepared? He is built for this moment. No pressure on him. Let's go and get this W. What are your thoughts in terms of pressure on Mr. Joshua Patrick Allen?
I think that there is some pressure on Allen because every playoff game, there's going to be pressure on the quarterback to do well. Because every single game, the field, Josh Allen's your best player on offense. There's going to be pressure for him to do well, to do things with his legs, to do things with his arm, and to win the game.
Yep.
But at the same time, he's had playoff experience before. So he's been here before. I think I saw a tweet earlier today. I was talking about that, like, statistically, record-wise, like, rookie quarterbacks have not done really well recently in their first playoff games. Josh Allen has played like at least 4 playoff games, like in the past 2 seasons. So, and like obviously we know
we know the results of that. Exactly.
Yeah, we know that he's done this. He's been there, done that, knows what to expect. So and Zach, I think he's just I feel confident in him.
I like it.
Because he is our best player on the offense. He always finds ways to make plays, regardless of the mistakes he may make, he always he finds the way to get the job done. He's more likely than not to come out of it with a dub. So,
well, Cassandra Turner actually agrees with you. She said he is built for this, man. So this pressure on Josh Allen, I don't know. My girl Cassandra was like, nah, fam, he's good. He's great. He's got this. So right before we sign off in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and into the chat. And I'm going to be looking up any interesting comments put in here by our valued, saying Bing Squad members and our valued viewers. I mean, viewing for the very first time, or you are I guess a reoccurring guest that comes back every time. So I love it. And I appreciate you guys coming through. So here's the deal. My man Scott Blakely says, hey, Singletary back. I like it. I like it a lot. He's not about sharing any of that crap. It's Singletary, and that's it, and that's all. My man Jeffrey Danger comes in and says, yo, motor with a side of moss. Okay, so he wants us to sprinkle a little bit of moss. I like that a lot. We've got moss motor 70%, moss 30%. Even me, I think that's way too close. I need it to be 85% to 15%, 90 to 10, if anything. But 85 to 15 is adequate enough for me. I'll stick with that. So obviously we already know that the Bengals won. Silas Willow comes in and says it's cold. Keep the both actively being used. The majority of the carry should go to Motor. I 1000% agree with that. Richard Forbes, my man Richard, comes in and says, yo, McKenzie can get it done. Just put him back there after he gets going on offense. So get him warmed up. Now here, that's another thing too, right? Getting him started on offense. We don't know. Brian Dable is so finicky on who plays because now we have a very healthy crew playing today. There's nobody injured in the receiving room, so everybody's ready to go. So how much time is McKenzie going to get on the field with Cole Beasley being around, Gabe Davis being around, as well as Emmanuel Sanders? We've got everybody healthy, and I'm not even going to mention Stephon Diggs, right? So very interesting to see how that's going to play out. Very much so.
I will say one thing about McKenzie, and I think this is mostly because Breida is inactive, but kind of like I think we saw last week, there were a couple plays where they put motion McKenzie into the backfield and he acted as the running back on the play.
Right.
I think you could very well see that again this week, or at least give the look of it, because I think there are ways you can use McKenzie. You can do the jet sweeps, you can do all that stuff. You know he's good on a deep crosser. You put 4 receivers out, have Beasley on a drag, McKenzie on a deep crosser over the middle of the field, make the linebackers' lives hell.
I like it.
You can find ways to be versatile with McKenzie on offense, especially if you're not gonna always use him on special teams.
We'll see, man. Because I mean, my man Glenn Goulet says McKenzie will return. We just need to field. He just needs to field the damn ball and let our offense go to work. Well, listen, field advantage is key. So that ball's gonna freaking feel like a rock. So kicking that thing, holy jumpers, I feel bad for the kickers, man. Back in the day, man, I don't know any kicker that was actually, there's some kickers that kick barefoot. We don't see that in this day in football. Like nobody's really kicking with that barefoot. But could you imagine these old school kickers coming out there and kicking with a barefoot, kicking that thing? Golly, man. Good luck. It's like for you guys, it's gonna be -2 degrees. For how you guys look at it, it's -18 to -20 for us, for Canadians that use Celsius. So -20 is not a brisk day. It's cold. That's a cold mother effer, man. I'll tell you that right now. I'm looking at some of the comments and questions coming from our valued viewers. John Henry, what up, John? John says, yo, yeah, Porter and Don could knock on my apartment door right now, but I don't think so. I guess he's chatting with some people in here. So going through here, Silas Whittle comes in with in inclement weather, field position is major. You're absolutely freaking right. So that's why I want every advantage that I can get in this game. Every single advantage I can get in this game, we're going to do it. It's a game of inches. It's a game of timing. Everything has to work out properly. We just can't make mistakes. Mistake-free football is what we must do. Don't forget, the last time we played these guys, 0 turnovers. You know what I'm saying? Josh lit him up for 3 touchdowns, ran for 300 yards, and ran for another 60 yards on the ground. So we need everything we can get from this team. Field position is key, 100%, and we'll see how this plays out. So I'm looking at the game cast here, and it's giving us the matchup predictor, the probability for the Bills to win. So right now, they're giving the Patriots a 38.3 chance to win this game. So right now, the Bills have the advantage at 61% a chance to win this game. Furthermore, let me bring my mic a little closer. Furthermore, the spread, right? It is -4.5 for the Bills. So for you bettors out there, did you take when the spread was a little higher at -6? I think it was at one point it was the highest as I thought it was like -6 or -6.5. So right now it is now down to 4.5 I guess the advantage for the Bills, and the money line is -220. All right. The over-under. Guess what the over-under is, Zach, for this Bills and Patriots game?
I believe, because I just recently got set up on DraftKings, I think last time I checked was like 46.5.
It's now down to 43.
Oh, wow.
It's now down to 43. So this is going to be fun, man. So the game time, holy crap. So that it's gotten colder, actually. The game time weather is 6 degrees. Actually, 6 degrees is not so bad. So it's 6 degrees in Buffalo.
What is shorts weather?
Yeah, 6 degrees. They made it seem like it was way worse. I don't know if you Americans are just not good with dealing with colds. Canadians over here, we deal with it just well, just fine. So let me look that up real quick. 6 degrees. What is that converted to Celsius? I got to see what's going on here, man, because I need to see what's the hype. What's all the hype? Hold on a second. 6 degrees converted to Celsius. What does that give us? Let me see here. So let me reverse that because they got me all effed up here. So hold on a second here. What's your guess? What's your guess?
On what temperature?
Yeah.
Or
so 6 degrees minus 14 for crying out loud. Minus 14. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even gonna round it up. It's minus 14.4. And there's no wind. There's very little wind. You heard my man Z-Bot. Fam. Now somebody said the real feel is -6. So Anthony Longino says it's -6 for the real degrees. So if it's real degrees -6, let's see what that feels like. -6. So it goes to -21. Yeah, it's all right. All right, fam. Yeah, y'all okay. You guys can deal with that. That's shorts and t-shirt weather. You know that. You know how that plays out. Hot take coming from my man Carl Tolman says Isaiah McKenzie will return one to the house tonight, and after we win, McDermott will gush over how good special teams was tonight. And you know that's what's gonna happen. You know what's hilarious? For you guys that are watching, when I totally took a guess as to how McDermott dealt with the win in the locker room when he's giving a speech, and I said that he was gonna do a fist pump and follow it up with a clap, right? And I was dead on. I did exactly how he's doing it, the cadence he used, every last bit of it. I freaking laughed my ass off when I actually rewatched that shot. So shout out to my man, clap God, Mr. McDermott. So here's the deal. We are a few minutes away from signing off here, folks. And we need some score predictions. Zach, I'm going to start with you. What is your score prediction for this game? Has it changed from how you had your score prediction from maybe a week ago, maybe a few days ago, maybe even 4 hours ago? What are your thoughts on this score prediction for this end of this game? Do the Bills win, and what's the score?
Yeah, so I think the Bills are going to win this. I won't say handedly because I know better than to say that. We're playing New England. We're playing Belichick. It's the third time around. He knows what we do well. He knows what we do poorly. We know what they do well. We know what they do poorly. It's just going to be, we're going to go out there. But I do think the weather will play some bit of factor. Like you said, the ball's going to be cold. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to catch it. It's going to feel like you're catching a rock or a slap shot hockey puck in Josh Allen's case. But I think it will be higher scoring than a lot of people think. But like earlier today, I would have said 28-17. But now hearing like some of the other stuff going on, I'm going to say Bills 34, Patriots 21.
Damn. Okay. So kudos to you. You feel that we're going to put up 34 points in this weather. I don't think and my score has changed, by the way. I had us at a 23-17 win. I mean, let's keep it real, man. When weather was great and weather was horrible and everything in between, all year round, we have averaged to hold teams to 17 points. We've blanketed a couple teams this year, right? But the teams averaged 17 points on us. So in this weather, for these guys to put up 21 points, I can't see that happening. And I said it was going to be 23-17. I think I'm going to lower the score. I'm going to give these guys 13, and I'm going to jump in and say the Bills win 20-10 or about 17-10. It's going to be a one-score game. And I'm already getting the wife has shown up. You guys haven't seen the wife in a long time. Did you want to say what's up to everybody? Because she's excited now that she's got the baby out of her belly and now she can actually have some wine. So she's excited and it's gonna be wine and Bills football. Look at you, Jack. Zach, you drinking wine as well? Are you wine?
No, it's beer. It's a lighter beer.
Before we get out of here, Gina, wifey, do you have a score prediction for the game tonight? 21-13 Bills?
Yeah.
All right. So she says 21-13 Bills. And if you get that correctly, guess what you get tonight?
Another baby.
You're not right. That's incorrect, ma'am. You've already trapped me with one upstairs. You're not about to trap me again. So wifey says 21-13 Bills. I say 21-13. I said, what did I say? 17-10. You know what I'm saying? Or it's going to be 20-13. It's going to be a 7-point game. We cover the spread and we go from there. She's already pouring the wine out right now, so we good. So Zach, you gave me your score prediction. Folks, that's it for us, man. This game's about to get started. It's a huge game. We need this win, and then we got to take it on the. I mean, I don't know if we're going to take it on the road, depending on who we play. But we'll find out how this plays out, man. So, Zach, I wish you. Listen, man. I hope you watch comfortably, and I hope there's no issues, and you have a great time watching it. I hope I have a good time watching it. I don't want to throw anything at the walls. I don't want to yell. Everybody's asleep right now, so I want to keep it that way. So I better not. I'm told I better not. So, guys, until next time, I gotta play a track because I gotta shout out to my guy. Radimus came through and hooked me up with a nice track. So I gotta play that as we get out of here. So folks, let me get my track going on right now. So until next time, man, we gonna keep it a buck. We're gonna have some fun. So you guys have a good one, Zach. Appreciate you. We'll catch you on the flip side. And ladies and gentlemen, until next time, it's your boy, it's my man Zach. It's the Buffalo Fanatics, and we out of here. Let's go. Let's go. Zach, peace out, homie. We'll catch you on the flip side. That's it. We're gonna rock it out. We're gonna rock it out. Buffalo. Hey, hey, hey. Shout out to my guy Rick. I see you in the chat. Let's get it. We need this win. We got to get this win. Let's go. Hey, hey, it's a Buffalo state of mind. If you guys have not gotten your tees, let me help you out. We're knocking at your door, man. Get your merch. Hey, Josh Allen and the team putting work on the field. Time to win the Super Bowl and see how I feel. Bring out the tables, cause we about to break them. Division champs again, boy, the Patriots is hating. Buffalo state of mind, 7-1-6. Believe we gon' get a Super Bowl ring. This Bills Mafia, get it through your head. Buffalo versus everybody. Buffalo, 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 Buffalo Fanatics, Buffalo Fanatics, Buffalo Fanatics, Buffalo Fanatics, Buffalo, 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 Buffalo Fanatics, Buffalo Fanatics, Buffalo Fanatics, Buffalo Fanatics. Hey yo, shout out to Rico, man. Shout out to the camping and all the Buffalo Fanatics. Bills Mafia, go Bills. It's your boy Radimus. Let's get these dubs. Beast in the East. We taking